If you have a pretty decent night routine and you seem to do everything right, you read before bed, you shut down the lights, your room is cold, you don't use your screens 1 hour before going to bed, you do everything right. But still, somehow you just can't stop overthinking before bed. You can't seem to shut your brain off, and you just toss and turn in bed for hours, and you can't seem to fall asleep even though you did everything right. Well, there is this one practice that has been shown to dramatically increase the speed at which you fall asleep. And the best thing is you can try it tonight and start seeing result tonight. I remember when I started to take my sleep more seriously, I learned about doing the night routines and shutting down your not using your phone 1 hour before bed, and red light, and turning off the light, cool room, reading, stretching, everything, right? But for some reason, it would still take me 30 minutes, 1 hour to fall asleep, and I just kept overthinking. I thought that if I did the night routine, my thoughts were going to stop by themselves. But that was not the case. Even though I did the night routine, even though I did everything right, when it was time to fall asleep, I just couldn't because I would just overthink so much. And so if that's you, well then the practice you can do, and what helped me stop all that overthinking was to start journaling, and specifically keeping a worry journal, going over all of the worries, all of the thoughts that were keeping me up every single night right before bed. Help me stop overthinking and help me fall asleep way quicker. So how does that work? The worry journal. Basically, what you want to do is grab a piece of paper, grab a notebook, and you just write down whatever you think is going to keep you up at night. So, for example, you have an exam coming up and you think you haven't studied that much. Well, write down about it. Just make peace with the fact that you probably haven't studied that much. You're probably not going to have a good grade if the exam is like tomorrow, but you'd rather have the sleep and go into the exam feeling rested than overthink about the exam and just toss and turn and wake up with shit sleep and not be rested and do worse in the exam. If you had an argument with your parents, write down about that, what you could have done better in the day, what you've missed. Have you disappointed yourself? Have you not been disciplined in some ways? Write down about that. What could you have done better? Just anything. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to have a specific order or routine of or a checklist of things that you need to write down about. But just write whatever comes through mind and just whatever you think might keep you up at night. And just doing that has been shown to like close off this emotional loop of just overthinking, and you're in bed and it's because like you haven't addressed that issue yet. And so when you finally have a bit of off time and silence and time for yourself alone, well, your brain immediately jumps into that, even though you did all of the shutting down routine, you read and everything. But as soon as you stop reading and you're left by yourself, your thoughts keep coming back. And that's because you haven't closed that emotional tab yet. And it's still in the back of your mind. It's still that thought, those thoughts are still there, and they're waiting for you to address them. But you want to sleep, you don't want to address them. So there's this, the two are going against each other, and you can't seem to fall asleep. So the best thing to do is grab the notebook, write down about your thoughts, your worries, everything that you could have done better, everything that you want to improve, and everything that worries you and is going to reduce your anxiety. It's going to reduce the overthinking. It's going to help you fall asleep way quicker, and it's going to close off that emotional tab that just keeps you up at night. It's like when you try to shut down your computer. You know how sometimes it says, oh, the shutdown hasn't, like, the computer didn't shut down properly because there was this app that was still open and that you needed to save the document or something like that. It's the same thing. You need to first shut down the app, the tab, and then shut down the computer. And it's the same thing with your sleep. First, you need to address the thoughts that are in your mind. You need to make peace with them and, address whatever pops into your mind and that keeps you up. And then once that's dealt with, then your brain can finally rest completely and let itself go to rest. So that was the single tip I had for you. If you are an overthinker and it's really, you do everything right, but somehow your brain just keeps overthinking for hours and hours. You just toss and turn into your bed. You can't seem to fall asleep. Keeping a worry journal is going to help you tremendously with this problem. And one last thing that you can do. I didn't think about that. It just popped into my mind. But a bonus tip that I can give to you is also plan what you're going to do for the next day. And it doesn't have to be specific. Obviously, the more specific, the better. But we don't want this to take you, 30 minutes before bed. It doesn't have to take long. Just plan what you're going to do in the next morning, the task that you're going to do, the workout you're going to do, at what time you're going to do it. And just doing that is going to give you clarity and security over the next day. It's going to take away one less thing to worry about. For like when you're in bed and how somehow sometimes you think about what you're going to do the next day. Well, if you've already planned that before and you already know what you're going to do, you already know what workout you're going to do, at what time you're going to do it, what task are you going to do, at what time you're going to do them, how long you're going to do it, and everything is just sorted out for the next day. That's just one less thing to worry about and one less thing to overthink about. So just a bonus tip, if you're someone who overthinks, who has thoughts and you're anxious, get anxious all the time, keeping a worry journal is going to help you. And a bonus that you can do, and I recommend you doing, I didn't plan on including it, but I did, it's planning the next day before. Even just a small outline of the day can be very helpful. So remember, the reason you can't fall asleep is not because you're genetically you're an overthinker by default, and you're not, you can't do anything about it, and you're just born like this, and you're just doomed to take 2 hours to fall asleep every single night. It's not because of that. It's because your brain is just in thinking mode. It's just in anxious mode. It has a bunch of things that accumulated throughout the day in its subconscious, and now that it finally has some alone time, some silence, it takes the time to think about those things. What you need to do is, instead of just trying to push them away and try to fall asleep while you can't really fall asleep because you have those thoughts. It's like trying to shut down the computer while there's still an app running in the background. You need to first shut that app in the background that's running in the background and then turn off the computer. So what you do is you grab a notebook, you write down the worries, you make peace with everything, you write down the thoughts, what's troubling you, what's keeping you up, what's making you anxious. Write down about everything. It's going to give you this feeling of control, of clarity, of security, of of peace and quiet that you need. And then once that's done, you're going to find that it takes you way less time to fall asleep, because now you have nothing to worry about anymore. You have nothing to think about anymore. Everything that you thought that's keeping you up, you've taken care of it. And right now you can fully allow yourself to sleep and to get that well-earned rest. So this is just a small practice that you can do. It takes probably if you're someone who has a bunch of worries and a bunch of overthinking to do, maybe it'll take you 10-15 minutes. For me, it takes about 5 minutes, literally. And that 5 minute can save you hours of tossing and turning and overthinking. So it's worth it. You should definitely try to implement this practice if you have this problem. And I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.